because it's a cold and rainy night in Manhattan, New York City, December 31st, 1989. And we find ourselves in a 3-level corner apartment across the street from Central Park. This is no normal apartment. This is a basement apartment. In the basement, there's a plastic surgeon office. It's got a street access door, 2 street access doors, one for the customers, one for deliveries in the back, not to mention the general entrance to the apartment at the front. But it takes up a quarter of the building if you were looking straight down from the top. In this apartment is where Blythe lives. Blythe, tonight, your plans are an elegant party. It's one of the small joys in your life is once in a while you get to go out and experience the scene. And in moments like this, you get to sit at your large vanity in a massive closet, if you could call it even that. It's a room. And we see you in the mirror, getting ready for your evening out. What do we see?
So, I'm sitting in front of my vanity, and Blythe has very short, almost black hair. It's in a bob cut, but it's with straight across bangs, and it's about, chin length, very short. She's young. She has a very round face, a pointed chin, very big eyes, but they're haunted. They're blank. They're the color of new moss. They don't have a lot of spark in them. So she's kind of just going through the motions, but she has a smile on her face. She's excited for this party. You see really lavish makeup products on her vanity, all organized according to what they are, what product it is, whether it be concealer, foundation, hairbrush, whatever. She is wearing, you see what she's wearing in the mirror?
Yeah.
Okay, she's wearing, I don't know if anyone's like versed in Lolita fashion, but
So this is gonna be your New Year's Eve night out version.
Yes. She is less cutesy, more sexy. She has a very deep V-cut black dress. It's long, but not like floor length, more like mid-calf. It's sequiny, but not like overly flashy, not like cheap sequins, like really nice, elegant dress. And she has a bright red purse slung over her, and it matches the color of her lips. Bright red purse.
So you're looking at your face in the mirror, putting on your makeup, and your husband, the doctor, is downstairs in the basement. That's where he spends a lot of his time, even outside business hours. And you hear the little intercom thing from inside your bedroom, and he beckons you down.
And she gets up and she goes to the intercom. She replies, "Yes, doctor." And she hurries out of the room.
So go downstairs to the basement. Now, the basement is pretty typical. If you were to come in from the office entrance off the street, there's the entrance area with the receptionist and a doorway that leads to a long hallway with multiple doors off that hallway. At the end of that hallway is a back door that leads to a stairway that goes up to the apartment. So you get to come down the back door.
Erica asked you drop the music a little bit, just so you know.
Yeah. As you come in from the back door, you see down the hall of doors. Some you've been through, some you haven't. At the end of it is the door that would lead to the receptionist office and then out to the street. You know which one is his office, and so you go to that one. Do you say anything to him when you come in?
No, I don't. I just go to his side, and I'm straight. My posture's straight, but my head is looking to the ground. I'm not looking him directly in the eyes. Looking at his shoes.
He has that energy that you've grown familiar with. He doesn't look at you. He's poring over some papers of some sort or another. And he says, "Plans have changed. Someone's coming over. Go change."
My face drops. I look even sadder than before, if that could have been even possible. And I ask permission to speak, sir.
What do you want to know?
Who's coming over, sir?
A stranger. Somebody new. Don't be sad. I don't want your eyes all puffy.
Yes, sir. Okay. I will go change. Thank you, sir. And I hop out of the room. Annoyed that he kind of just told me over the intercom that plans have changed, that I had to come all the way down, but I didn't show him my annoyance. I just went out of the room.
So you go back up to the vanity. How much of your outfit do you change?
It's a whole thing. I have to take off my dress and I put on a new one. It's shorter. It's above my knees. It has frills around the bottom. It's my usual attire. I put on stockings and I change from heels to flats.
So you make your change. As you sit there, adjusting, modifying your makeup a little bit perhaps, staring into your own eyes, thinking about how plans have definitely changed.
I slowly wipe off my bright red lipstick.
It's when you hear the doorbell ring. And you don't have to answer this. You have somebody in the apartment who answers your door for you. and you know it's not for you. And while you contemplate the stranger, we switch gears and go to a different part of town. This part of town is a little bit more of a up its growing art district called Tribeca. This is where Harvey Winston lives. Now. And so, Harvey, you're in your apartment now, and if somebody was in there with you, tell us a little bit about what they would see with you and your surroundings.
Well, Harvey lives in a very nice, obviously higher class apartment, but it almost looks like, because it is, the fact that he got a bunch of money to buy a bunch of things, but he doesn't really know how to decorate. So the ground's kind of, I'm trying to think of the word, but it's black and white, and it's tiled, and there's abstract art all over the walls. And the apartment itself doesn't really have like a uniform look to it. Like there's pastels, there's bold geometric patterns and bright purple couches with blue pillows and plants here and there. Some of them are dying. It's kind of a studio sort of apartment, so it leads into the kitchen that has like a brand new fridge and very clean area, and then there is a loft that you take like one of those spiral staircases to that leads to his bedroom, and it's a very large, very soft bed. He's very clean, like the whole place just looks clean, even though it doesn't really match a pattern or anything like that. Like it's all clean and new, and even his closet and all his clothes, they seem freshly pressed and hung up very nicely. And speaking of clothes, you know, it's those styles you have in the late 80s, you know, give me kind of John Cusack and Say Anything vibes. You know, he's got the pants that are a little baggy, graphic tees and button-up shirts and lots of belts with the jeans that kind of go up almost a little too high, and the big jackets, like lots of jackets, like leather, a kind of a bomber jacket with fur lining. Yeah. But it's all new. He doesn't really seem to have anything that's used or like he has had a long time. It just seems like a lot of very material objects about the place.
Well, and that's what brings me to my next question, is because it wasn't always this way, was it?
No, not at all.
When you first arrived in New York, how long have you been in New York?
A little over a year. Well, in this area, a little over a year, but he's grown up in New York City in the poorer part for most of his life. Moved there from a small town in Missouri when he was about 5.
Since 5 years old, so you've lived in all sorts of various tenements and locations within the city?
Yeah, basically. Just very good-natured parents, good childhood, but they were always fairly poor. Hi, kitty. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I said hi.
Sorry, I got distracted by the cat. You know,
Okay.
so he doesn't quite know how to handle having money. He's never had to handle money, hence all the random abstract things all over the apartment. They've always kind of struggled. They've had to move from place to place, be kicked out of apartments. But he still loves his parents. They just never had much luck. Single child, or only child,
So
because they just couldn't afford anyone else.
I want to take you back to that day when you were not where you're at now. As a matter of fact, it was about a year ago or so when you probably felt that you were at your lowest of lows and that you were running out of time and running out of options for any sort of success in this city. And a strange thing happened on that day. And it was that you remember it vividly because you had just come out of your, if it was a hostel or a tenement apartment or some run-down home that you were at, your last attempt of individual responsibility. And so when you hit the street that morning, there was that man on the corner. And you'd seen him from time to time on the block, and you thought maybe you'd seen him from time to time on other blocks, but he's just a homeless guy sitting there with his cardboard sign. And the reason that it strikes you is, one, he looks terrible. He looks like he should be dead. If there's meat on his bones, jeez. His skin is sallow. No beard, though. A perpetual stubble. But the most interesting thing, and the part that really strikes your imagination, was that cardboard sign that said, "Will not work for food." And that day you came out and you saw that old man sitting there against the curb with his cardboard sign propped at his feet. And he looked up at you, and he had this one milky eye with like this scar in a V shaped that comes to a point at probably where his pupil would be. And you realize that it's not just milky, but it's kind of deflated a little and has a bit of a wrinkle to it as you lock eyes with this homeless man. And he says, "You know, the Wayfinder take you to the swap dealer, fix all your shit for you. Looking so fucking sad all the goddamn time."
The Wayfinder? What do you mean by that?
He doesn't say anything else.
Do you need help?
He just grunts and
you want me
waves
to
his
take you
hand at you.
To a shelter? I think in a way, like, seeing this old man kind of rattles Harvey a little bit, because anytime he sees like a homeless old man on the side of the street, he thinks, what if that ends up being me? I can't let that end up being me. So he's a little bit on edge.
Yeah. And while you contemplate that edge and that funky eye, we go to Sasha. Sasha, where do you live in 1988-89 New York?
Oh, I live in Greenwich.
Greenwich?
Yeah, I live in Greenwich. I have just a shitty one-room apartment. The toilet is in the kitchen.
The Greenwich Village starter package.
Yeah, the straight. I mean, it's the, you know what I mean? It's the, have you ever seen the Beastie Boys image where Mike D is standing up out of the bathtub in the middle of his kitchen getting something out of the refrigerator?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, it's straight up like that.
And I saw it when it was popular. So yeah, okay. So
yeah, dirty, grimy. You know what I mean? I've got a busted ass couch, 3 plates, a fork, 2 cups. I have no food in my house. The water barely runs. There's never hot water.
Sounds like college.
It's a place that, well, I mean, it's a place that I don't spend a lot of time in. I'm on the street most of the time.
So what happens next is you receive a page. And it is a payphone number with a plus 071.
7-1.
And let me ask her this, because I'm going to give him, let me ask him this. Harvey, you met somebody recently, and the only person in this city who might know the Wayfinder and what this creepy old guy has to say is your friend Sasha. And so this is, I'm going to do it 2 games in a row. I'm going to railroad you for just a second.
That's okay.
And would you call Sasha? And in this situation, you've asked 071 is for a favor. Now, would you, given the way that you feel about this particular situation, throw a 911 on the end of that?
What would you mean by that?
Oh, I got to talk
So
pager talk. Yeah.
So you sent me a page, and on pagers, all you used to get was numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a phone number would come up, because what you would do is you would dial my pager number, and it would tell you to dial in the number that you wanted whoever you're paging to call. But it's like the original, it's like the first text messages. So there was this whole list of
Krista are like, what?
Right. There's
Yeah.
this whole list of there's this whole list of number codes that people. So you would type in the phone number, and then you would hit, star, and then you would type in the code. So 071 is I need a favor. 911 means it's an emergency. You need to call me right now. 505 was SOS. What are the other ones? 221 is where are you? 187 is you're dead.
Okay.
So in essence, yeah, you would.
I need to be taking notes.
If you wanted to get a hold of Sasha, you would go to a payphone, call his pager number, punch in the number of the payphone that you want him to return the call at, or if you're at another phone, you would punch in that number. And then you could give him a little heads up as to what you wanted. So like in this particular situation, you want a little bit of information. So that's where I gave you the favor. I just threw this in for flavor because I thought it would be fun to do the whole pager thing right off the bat. But then
I got a whole list of pager codes.
Yeah, so then you have to make this personal decision back then, because it was a really big thing. If you threw 911 on the end of a text, that'd be like, in today's version, I'm going to put you on auto redial constantly. If you don't pick up, I'm calling you again in 5 seconds. And then I'm calling you again in 5 more seconds until I get a hold of you. Sort of that same urgency, except 30 years ago.
Okay. I don't think he would put the 911 right away unless, like, Sasha just took, like, days to get back. Or if he knew where Sasha lived, he might just go visit him anyway, because Harvey doesn't have a lot going on right now.
Right.
But I don't think he would put the 911 right away, because it's just speculation at this point. He's just heard about this Wayfinder. He's like, hey, check it out. Sasha might know something.
Yeah. No, that's all I had done, was just thrown in this little payphone bit to hook you and Sasha up. So.
So do I recognize this payphone number as one that Harvey would normally call me from?
I'm gonna let Harvey decide what he wants to do.
Okay.
If he wants to, do you want to go ahead and make the page, or do you want to just see if you can catch him at home?
I'm gonna just try to catch him at home.
Okay. I only say that because he is on the street a lot.
True. What time is it? Because I think it would also depend on what time.
This is when you would be coming out to start your day. So
he might just be coming back in.
Are you a late sleeper?
You have a good point that, yeah, he'll go ahead and page, and then if he can't get a hold of him, then he'll come by. Because you have a good point that he's out all the time.
Okay. So yeah, so
Yeah,
basically,
if it's morning time, I'm probably headed back home to go to sleep.
Yeah, it's a safe bet.
so you know Sasha, you know he knows weird stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's the only person you could think of to contact now. So you give him the page. Sasha?
You know what? I had kind of a weird night anyway. There was this chick at the Roxy. You know what? I'm gonna go call him. I gotta walk, I'm on a 3rd floor walk up, so I gotta walk all the way down. But if I don't call him now, I'll probably forget to call him later. So I'll hustle down the stairs. There's a payphone right down on the corner, not even half a block away. I will go and dial the payphone number that he gave me.
And while Sasha is dialing the payphone, Blythe has been summoned back down to the office.
Ooh, I really want to get that fly that's bothering you, Curtis.
I
I really
wish
want
you
to get
could.
Oh, man.
Oh man.
You don't even know. You don't even know. Live theater, live television, live whatever the hell this is. It's a blast. Yes, Blythe.
All right. So I go back downstairs all the way to the office, and I assume my position of just looking at his shoes, standing beside him. I'm ready. Again.
When you go in the office, there's another man in there. He's dressed in a suit. He's not unpleasant looking. He's not the most handsome man in town. Very ordinary, really. But in a weird, almost comforting sort of way, which is not the sensation that you thought you would feel when glancing upon him. But he's got a trench coat on and a suit underneath that. Tie done all the way up.
I take a good quick glance up at him a few times just to really take him all in, just to really observe his face, but I never make eye contact. I, just stand there and
The doctor says, I think he wants pictures. Take him to the studio. And you know that one of the doors down the hall leads to not an examination room or even a surgical room, because he does have surgical rooms down here. But it leads to a room that is painted black. There are lights on stands with those umbrella-looking things behind them, and I took the class, and there is a name for them, but I can't think of what it is off the top of my head. So I go with the umbrella-looking things. And it's dark in here. There's a little bit of some mood lighting via a rope light, sort of somehow built into the corner of the room that runs the perimeter of the room. So there's just a very light blue light along the floor. There are other lights that could be turned on, but they're not on now. And when you walk into the studio, there's also a camera on a tripod. And this is 89, and this is probably the best Polaroid a very rich person could buy, so that it generates automatic pictures with as little effort as possible. And you know where all the light controls are, and there are also other chests and closets of assorted things. And the tall man, the stranger, when you come into the room, do you go in front of him, or do you have him walk in the room first?
The doctor told me to take him, so I lead into the room, but then I stand next to the doorway, like just inside the room, until he makes an entrance, and I await his instructions. I flip on a light so we can see a little bit more clearly.
As soon as you flip on the light, the first thing he does is reach out and turn it back off. And then he reaches out and does the old lift your chin up with his finger sort of thing, so to sort of force the eye contact. And you try not to look at his eyes for a moment. And then you do. And for a moment, all you feel is that comfort that this guy may be okay, right? He may not be one of the bad ones. And you see his face start to change and shift ever so slightly. It almost looks like his makeup starts to crack, as if he had some on. A crack across a cheek, just a porcelain hairline, just barely enough to notice. And then another one on the other side. And his voice changes when he speaks to you. Would you like something different?
Will you repeat that? I'm so sorry.
Do what?
I said, will you repeat that? I'm so sorry. You
No, that's
cut
all right.
out at the most inopportune time.
That's okay. I'll turn my level up. He says, do you want something different? And his voice doesn't sound like a man. It sounds like a dozen voices at once.
Something inside me snaps, and I look into his eyes, and I stare for a moment, and I say yes.
At the moment, the last of the S escapes your teeth. The cracks in his face disappear. You see his eyes flash black for just a moment, and then you see, again, a comforting, smooth face. And he walks over to the wall by the door where there's a phone, and he picks it up. And he pushes the buttons, and you are familiar with the sound. And you hear him say, pager dealer. And then he hangs up the phone. And then he turns back to you. And he says, we just need to get a witness.
Yes, sir.
And then I love leaving Blythe hanging on a hook for a little while.
Well, that's fucking creepy. Is what that is. That's
we jump back to Sasha and Jaylee. or Harvey. And I'm sorry. Did you called her back or him back? I'm gonna have to.
Yes, I called him back.
Okay.
I know.
I called the number.
I'll get there.
Because that 071 can mean a lot of things. You know, I need a favor can mean they actually need me to help them with something, but more often than not, it's
Right.
the idiot's way of telling me that they want drugs.
Right. So, Harvey, you get a call back on your this was in a time when their payphones were plentiful. You can find one on just about any relatively commercially busy block. So I will always allow you to have access to a phone.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
But you don't have one in your pocket.
Thank you.
I love that.
But you've always got quarters in your pocket.
But you always have quarters in your pocket, yes.
We have an unending amount of quarters, so we just jingle when we walk.
Oh, let me write that down.
You can hear us
case any
coming
monsters.
mile away.
So, yeah, you're standing there by the payphone where you page Sasha, and it's just a few moments. You know, it takes him a minute to, if he's at home, he's got to get down 3 flights of stairs and out to that payphone just down the block. So it's a matter of however long that takes, and the phone rings.
I pick it up right away. Hey, Sasha, this is...
Harvey?
Hey, how are you doing, man?
I'm tired.
What
do you need?
I bet you just get in.
Yeah, 20
Hey,
minutes
maybe
ago.
You want to hit up a Waffle House here and like maybe soon.
You need me now?
Well, I mean, if you want waffles now, dude. I mean, you know I'm always down. Anyway, I'm getting off subject here. I just ran into a really weird old guy.
Yeah, there's lots of
Outside of
those.
the hostel.
We're in New York City. There's a lot of those.
You're right. He said something to me, and I was wondering if you knew about it. You're the person I go to when I need to know things.
Okay, I'll meet you. Don't say it. Don't say it. I'll meet you. Where are we going?
You're like leaving me. Well, you wanna go to a Waffle House?
Yeah, that's fine.
I got like a couple of bucks. I can spot you.
Okay.
All right, cool. They're the one
Yeah,
a block
I'll
away
be
from your place.
Oh, you're coming here? Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'll meet you there. You're tired. You're doing me a favor. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
man.
I'll go get coffee. I'll get coffee. I'll see you in a minute.
All right.
I hang up the phone. Start walking that way.
Waffle House. I also head that way.
Um,
At this point, we're both kind of in a rougher part of town, so we're not too far from each other.
yeah, you got to come north a little bit, but
Yeah.
so
I'm gonna be lenient
I'll have,
on that
I'll have,
sort of
I'll have coffee.
perspective.
Wait, what's that?
I said I'm going to be lenient on that sort of perspective in regards to travel distance, because it's what I've been doing like for the last couple of days, is trying to learn my distances around Manhattan just so I can get an idea of where everything is, because I realized I don't know.
Well, totally meta. It's part of why I took Wayfinder as one of my abilities, so that I can easily traverse the city quickly.
That's
I like
pretty
it.
nice.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I've got a coffee waiting for you. Are you cream and sugar, or what are you?
Oh yeah, totally. Cream and sugar
Okay.
guy.
Yeah, I've got like 2 bowls of cream on the table for you.
What a pal.
Yeah.
So I make it there eventually, and I come sit next to you, and I'm kind of like twiddling my thumbs. Like, Harvey's kind of a heart on his sleeve kind of guy. Like, you can always tell when he's excited, when he's sad. Like, he wears his expressions very easily most of the time. Hey, man.
Hey.
You look you look like shit.
Yeah. Thanks.
You look like royal fucking shit. I'm glad
Yeah.
I'm not in a gutter yet. I always watch out the news, you know. I'm always scared I'm gonna find you on there. How are you?
Oh, thanks a fucking lot. Jesus
You're
Christ.
welcome.
Have
Hey,
some
it means I'm
fucking
watching out for you.
Have some faith in me.
Watching out for you, guy.
Fuck.
Oh, you got the
Jesus.
cream?
I'm good. How are you?
You treat me so well, man.
Well, you said you were paying, so I figured I'd at least get you some extra cream.
Alright, touche.
Who's the guy?
Wayfinder. You ever hear of a Wayfinder? Dude, this old guy, he had like a kind of a psychic look about him, you know? He had the milky eye and everything, like shit you see in movies. And he just said something about a Wayfinder that can help, you know, get me out of my rut. And
He
I
said,
thought if anyone knew anything, you'd be the guy.
right. The other important part that you don't want to forget was that the Wayfinder would help you find the swap dealer and change all your shit.
Oh, the swap dealer. Yes, I didn't catch on to that detail.
What do I know about the Wayfinder, Curtis?
You are aware of your ability because of some funky things that have happened to you.
Okay.
You have run across a few old crazy bastards on the street in your time.
Sure.
And that is not the first time you've heard that word. Now, you have never called yourself one, but you have sort of put the implications together that may have something to do with...
Right, but I've probably also popped out in weird places through, you know, old locked doors, into alleyways and surprised the shit out of some crazy people. Okay, yeah. Okay. So you need to find... Who do you need to find? Who's the Wayfinder gonna find for you? What? I don't...
The like swap? Yes. Swap dealer.
Swap dealer. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't know if that was some new kind of fancy...
Now, Sasha,
drug.
this name does ring a bell. In your... I'm going to be lenient by calling it investigations. You're perceptive. You're a streetwise kid, young adult, and you've heard that name before in always sort of this mythical sort of fashion, like
is it
swap,
boogeyman or
the swap dealer that fixes everything. I mean, even the way that the old man phrased it is like, oh, you know, you're talking about finding a genie in a bottle kind of guy. You know, oh, the swap dealer, he's just probably myth and legend as far as you know. Only crazy people have ever mentioned those words until Harvey just said them.
I mean, I've heard of him, but I don't know where to find him.
So, it's a real thing. Like, you think...
It's an urban legend. It's like Chupacabra over in it's like Jersey Devil. I mean, it's...
Sasha, you know you've seen crazier shit than the Chupacabra. Like...
Yes, you're right. I have seen crazier shit, and I'm not saying that he doesn't exist. But I'm telling you, I don't know where to find him.
And it's when the words, I've seen crazier shit, comes out of Sasha's mouth that the camera makes a fade. And we jump back to New Year's Eve, 1989. And Sasha, I don't know what New Year's Eve is like as far as how's business has been for you as you get ready to roll into a new decade. But
I'm woo, money, dude, just money.
You get the page from the doctor, which you know is not a return call. That is a return call in the old-fashioned way, that I'll return your page when you hear the doorbell ring sort of situation.
That's a beckon call. That's not just a phone
Correct.
call. Okay. So, am I sitting in the diner with Harvey?
No, this is a different time. This is
okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna do like a real weird sort of twisted thing, and
That's
we're
fine.
bouncing back and forth a little bit.
Yeah, I get that page. I'll probably make a couple more deals on my way out of the limelight, and I will head straight there. I've got a skateboard with me. It'll probably take me an hour to ride there, but there's no way I'm getting a cab on New Year's Eve.
So, Blythe, after he hangs up the phone with the doctor, he just stands there.
Stranger, yeah?
Correct, the stranger.
Okay.
He doesn't seem to really react to you anymore at all.
Sir, what should we take the photos that way the doctor isn't suspicious, sir?
There's nothing.
Nothing. Okay. All right. Okay. Follow me this way, sir. And I'll lead him out of the room.
When you go to take his arm, he pulls it back. And when you... Oh, I get it. I wish I had my cat in here.
I've been wanting you to get that thing for 4 hours.
Please.
I know. Ever since the beginning of Shadows, I was like, "There's a fly."
I would beg, you're embarrassing me. Would you just go away? And
You're embarrassing me in front of the internet.
right in front of God and everybody. Get out of here.
All 6 of our fans.
There's only 5 of us.
You look up at him to get a read as to what is going on with this guy. And when you look at him, his face is completely cracked. All like shattered glass. Except that there's actual splits in the cracks with darkness beyond. And his eyes are white with just the smallest little black pinpoint of a pupil. And you realize at that moment his entirety has changed. He's no longer in a suit. He's no longer wearing a coat. He's completely just wrapped in leather from head to toe, with links of chain and spikes and different sorts of hunks of rusted metal and various other sorts of weird instruments hanging from links and loops from his arms, from his waist, from his hips, from all parts of his body. And he looks at you, and you see no expression in his eyes, but there's just this hint of a smile, and that voice comes out, although the lips hardly move, just barely enough to let sound escape. I want this one. And you need him to hurt. And so we will hurt him. And it will be better for you it will be better for me. Really, we just need to worry about the witness. And when he says witness, you just hear like this loud echo, witness, like there's something to the way he said that word. And when you blink to take it all in, he's the stranger again.
This is... she's just taking it all in. She's just standing there, baffled at this stranger, watching him, thinking, this is it. This is how it's going to be done. And a real, genuine smile crosses Blythe's face as she accepts what he has said, but then a confused look crosses her mind because witness? It's just us here. So she asks the stranger, she says, who's the witness? Who is here?
He doesn't answer you.
Of course he doesn't.
It's the fly.
And as a matter of fact, unless you just can not stand it at all, nothing happens but silence until you hear that familiar buzz from the loading door, I'll call it, to the basement. And your heart starts to pound.
I jump at the sound.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Your heart's going to pound because you know that emotion has begun to happen as you hear the doctor's door open and walk down to the door. You hear the key come out and unlock the exit door. And Sasha, before you, the doctor stands and lets you into his offices, into his workplace. And he, just like you've done this 100 times or more, you walk by him, he locks the door behind you, turns around, leads you down the hallway, and he stops at a different door.
Why are we going in?
You know, this was for somebody else.
Man, you know I don't like doing this. You know I don't like doing this.
It'll be fine.
You should have warned me. You should have warned me. Alright. Okay. Alright. Sasha is super uncomfortable. Why don't I just give it to you? You pay me and you give it to them. I don't want... man.
You don't even really get the words out of your mouth.
Fuck.
And he's opening the door and coming in to the studio where the stranger and Blythe are. And you might have had a chance to catch a glimpse of Blythe from time to time. I'm not really sure how much interaction you've had, but there is at least
I've seen
some
her.
familiarity.
Don't scare me.
And surprising to the doctor, everybody's clothed. Nothing is moved. The lights are still out, except for the low mood lighting. And
I look at the doctor. I look at the guy. Yeah, you must be the guy. What are you looking for?
My eyes to the floor again since the doctor entered the room. I'm looking at his shoes, and I move to his side.
You move to the doctor's side?
Yeah, move to the doctor. Yeah. My place.
The doctor stands there as if he's about to speak. There's no expression on his face. This is just some bullshit. He may be a little bit... if there's any expression, it's things are not what he expected when he walked into the room. And what you two see, however, is something much, much different. Because, Sasha, you have not gotten to see the stranger in his true form, but those sorts of realities come quick to you these days, or at least a lot quicker than they did. And whereas his appearance only sort of crept up on Blythe, it becomes painfully obvious to you in just a mere matter of moments. As you walk into the room, and as you are about to ask a question and get a layout of the land and see what's going on, the stranger, in his leather-clad, cracked, void form, snatches the doctor and lifts him about a foot into the air by the neck and walks him over to the chair, I'll say. Maybe it's a chaise lounge.
A chaise.
That is.
Chaise lounge.
That is.
It's a fainting sofa.
No, we know what it is.
In front of the camera.
It's a comeback.
And as he's walking over to said lounge, said chaise lounge.
Said chaise.
Man, what a moment breaker.
Sorry.
It's all right. I did it. The chair changes. You realize, wait, it's not a couch. It's like rusted metal. Only you realize that it is like a triangle shaped, long, like if you took a triangle and stretched it, like a triangle tube. Does that make sense? All the way through. It's hard to describe geometry like this in the theater of the mind. But imagine a sawhorse, only with a very sharp top and a very wide bottom, as it were. And he takes the doctor over and lifts him up and kind of sets him down on this sawhorse, and then kind of gives him a drag across it. And as he's doing this, he turns to Blythe and gives you the finger, like, oh, where's the camera? Yeah. And waves you over. And Sasha, you notice blood starting to come from the seated area of the doctor.
I walk over when beckoned, like, passionately, like, quickly, like, I'm ready.
So, Sasha, you see Blythe walk over to this strange creature, and he pulls what looks like a hay hook from a link that's on his waist and hands it to Blythe. Blythe, what do you do?
I take it from him. And I look at it. And I look back at the doctor.
The doctor has the face of a man who is screaming, but no sound escapes his lips.
And I think of all the hatred that I have towards him. I think of every vile, sick, disgusting thing that he's made me do. I think of the way he's treated me. The way I've become his property. That I'm not a human to him. I'm just his toy. And I look back at the hook. And I drag it across his neck. Like, hook it in. And I just give it all I got.
So, Sasha, you see this young, probably 16-year-old girl who looks more like a sex toy than a person. Take the hook and rip open the doctor's throat with it.
Fuck. I'm gonna get the fuck out of there.
I turn to him with blood dripping down my hand, the hook still in my hand. I rip it out of the doctor's neck. I ask him, "Where do you think you're going?"
Is this a chance where I can use Wayfinder to use my madness to travel between 2 points in the city? Can I use my power to get the fuck out of here?
I don't know, because about a year ago, when you were sitting across the table from Harvey, a series of events began in your life, which might make you a little less jumpy than you might think you are. Because it was when Harvey asked you to find out about this swap dealer when things in your life began to get really, really weird. And that's where we'll take a break.
The note. You're gonna make a note about making a note about not forgetting to flip that switch.
Drop that one thing.
You need to
I'm getting better at it.
Put like a sticky note on your computer.
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have several sticky notes on my computer. Look.
I can't help you, Curtis.
Here's my favorite. Best time to join. Oh, I get the mirror effect. Never mind. Patreon, best time to join is now. Ground floor. Get a lot of power for just $1 a month. So yeah, we are back at the Waffle House.
What's the year of the Waffle House encounter?
Would have been 88.
Yeah.
Right?
So the previous year?
Yeah.
Okay.
1 year before your night with the doctor. Good question. And let's see. I keep looking at a character sheet just to see if there's ever an opportunity. I figure we might flex our rolling muscles just once somewhere along the line, but nothing seems to really apply. It's a very rules-light game. So I'm curious, Harvey, are you taking this serious? This Wayfinder swap dealer can fix your life?
Yeah, I mean, he's, I at this point in his life, at least, he's a little bit gullible, and he's been through a lot of downs, and so been rejected for a lot of roles that he's tried to audition for, and this is one kind of spark of maybe some kind of hope for him. Like, he's desperate at this point to find anything. And a little superstitious, and if a man with a milky eye tells you about a mysterious thing, he can't help but be kind of curious. He's very curious.
It's almost something Shakespearean about that, isn't there?
Yeah. But he's naive, and it's like anything's worth it at this point. Like, he's so tired of just being down in the dumps constantly.
So what are you hoping Sasha's going to be able to do for you? I know I told you to call Sasha, basically, but...
Well, Sasha's...
Yeah, go ahead.
He's the one guy I know who knows people. He knows things. He knows information. And so, even though we're two very different people, like, Harvey's not really into the drugs. He probably tried a few with Sasha back in the day, but it's not his thing. He's a very clean, he's very, like, trying to make his way in life, but just failing at every turn. But he still depends on Sasha. Like, you have to depend on somebody like that when you're as innocent of a guy as Harvey is. It's a dependency kind of thing.
Right.
He probably calls Sasha a lot anytime he hears something weird. He's like, dude, did you hear about this? Like, what's going on?
So, Sasha, when she's called you this time, this one's a little bit more serious than some of the other weird things you've been asked to do. What do you think you're going to do?
I mean, it is Harvey. You know, I don't have a lot of friends. I know a lot of people, but I don't have a lot of friends. And this seems like something Harvey needs. This seems like something Harvey might be a little scared of. So I'll really start asking around, see what I can find out.
So, after a couple of days, Sasha, you do find some information out. And after rattling some doors and beating the bushes, as they say, you realize that this is a dark journey if the information that you get is true, and the only way that you'll get there is with your power.
Okay.
But you more or less get some general directions, I suppose. I'm just a little meta here. I'm working on your contacts. So
yeah, that's fine.
You have a few contacts out there. This one will be yet an unnamed source, but he's fed you some information.
Okay. Then, I don't know. I don't know if I'd do it by myself or if I'd take Harvey with me. I think I would probably go to Harvey's place and let him know what I'd found and let Harvey decide.
I'd say he would probably want to come with you then. If you gave him the option to go with you, he'd be like, oh yeah, let's go. Let's adventure.
Listen, man, where I'm taking you is not adventure. Okay? Where I'm taking you, you better put your head on a swivel and then I take my left hand and I grab Harvey's right hand, and I pull a knife out of my pocket and I put it in his hand, and I say, "And you better be ready to use that, okay? This isn't what you think it is."
Where do you really think we'll need? Where are we going?
I wish I could tell you exactly where we're going, but it's gonna get weird. Okay? Just trust me. Do you trust me?
You know, yeah, of course. I trust you. You're like a brother. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I got your back. Yeah, let's do this shit.
Okay.
Harvey is not a violent person, and so you handing him that knife, he
I know.
doesn't really know how to handle it, but he acts confident with it, and he's like, "All right," and tucks it away.
Yeah, but I think I know better than that. Yeah, then I'm gonna lead Harvey, and we're gonna head down the street, and we're gonna hang a left, and we're gonna jump into an alley, and I'm gonna open a door, and I'm gonna use Wayfinder.
It's really, oh yeah, there is a roll, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. So whenever you travel,
Yeah.
you allow your madness to guide you through the alleys. Roll plus soul.
All right, so let's do.
You want me to roll in roll 20?
Let's see. Yeah, let's yeah, for practice, I'm gonna make you do it. If you go, there's a couple different ways. You probably already have figured out. You can do a /roll in chat. 2d10.
Here it comes. My soul is +3. So I got a 13.
Not bad.
Not bad.
10 to 14. You do discover a shortcut, but there is also some sort of obstacle that you are going to need to get past. So when you use your madness to travel around the city, what does that look like?
So I always carry this skateboard with me, so it makes it look like I have some sort of mode of transportation, and there are times that I do actually ride the skateboard, but more often than not it's a prop or a possible weapon. To actually travel, excuse me, I find a doorway. I put my hand on the knob or on the handle, what you know what I mean, however it is, and you see me grip it, and I have a tattoo along the inside of my left forearm, and it says, "Must not sleep, must warn others." And when I grab hold of the handle on the door, that tattoo kind of, it's almost like smoke comes out of the tattoo up my arm and to the handle of the door. And when I open the door, it leads me to the next place. Sometimes it takes me 2 or 3 doorways to get somewhere. But if it's close enough, then I can usually do it within 1 doorway.
So, Harvey, you watch Sasha do this, and he opens up this door, and as he waves you to come through with him closely through the door, as you approach the portal and are looking through it, it looks like another alley. Only it should be inside a building but it's not. It's like opening a door and looking outside into another exterior alley. If you looked up through the door, you would see the sky. If you look down, you'd see the street. If you look to the left, there's walls from the buildings. If you look right, there's walls from the buildings. But these buildings have fire escapes on them, but there are no windows. It's just fire escape, 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 for what looks to be an infinity.